Okay, so to begin with, I usually have a nice centre on my pot, make a nice dome, so that I can then pull it outwards with my thumbs. Pushing it up and down usually centres the clay more, gets it nice and malleable so it's easy to throw with, makes it a lot easier to pull it into the shapes you need. Pulling it into this sort of narrow pot shape that I'm doing now really helps to get it into the right sort of shape. It just makes it really easily malleable. I've now started to push it into the sort of shape that I want to use for when I start putting the hole in it, so you can pull out the sides and get the shape of the beaker sort of going. Here I'm just starting to pull out that flat base, which I can then smooth off easily with a throwing rib. Here I'm just pulling all the clay out, trying to get it into the right places to pull up into sides or down into the base of the pot. Now this looks a lot easier than it actually is. You can see my hands are still shaky where I'm getting used to the clay moving at such a high velocity. It's really just getting used to that feel of the clay, the amount of force and pressure you have to put on it at once. And it's going to take a lot more practice to get it into the right sort of shape, and to get my arms really used to having to withstand that much force and move that much clay. And as you can see, I'm only using small balls. These are all weighed out to 500 grams, so that they're all the same size. Here I'm just starting to pull up the sides of the pot, so that actually makes a beaker shape, so that it starts to actually develop into a pot rather than a flat surface. Now you can see how I haven't joined my hands together at this point, how they're not helping each other, and it's a lot harder for me to move the clay about because I'm not quite working with my hands in the right place, which is something I have to work with. Here is always a good place to just use one hand making the side of the pot, but this is all stuff that I can routinely start to position and to get used to. Here I'm just coning back in, trying to get the particles within the clay into the right alignment and get used to it so they don't all get pushed out of shape, and it just keeps the pot malleable, it keeps it plastic. I've now pulled it up to the height that I need. That coning in really helps to get a lot of height on the pot. And you can see here how it's well centered, but the top has come out of alignment where the clay's moved through the process of coning in. And I'm just trying to flatten off the sides. The beaker shape is really starting to come in. And here's the first stages of using a throwing rib, just to straighten up those sides and make it nice and beaker shaped. So you can really see how the sides are flattening out here, and it's also accentuating the dip on that rim, which isn't very good, and I'm desperately trying to fix, but it's something that happens occasionally when the clay is just in the wrong position and you get one side thicker than the other. It's nothing to do with how I'm moving it, it's just something that you can easily scrape off with a tool and try and fix up, and which can be removed in turning. Here I'm just swapping hands, seeing which side's comfortable, because I tend to throw left-handed and then use tools on my right hand, and just trying to get used to that focus point, the main area. You can see here how I'm just getting the last of the shape together, about to start using the webbing between my fingers just to get the rim of the pot right, and then it will take a little bit of extra work just to get it into the right shape, which I'll quickly flip to now, so you can see the process that I used to take the pot off of the wheel here, just pulling it towards myself with lots of water, trying to get some lubrication under there, a little bit more water, and then just pulling it towards myself, using my hand as a platform to move it from the wheel to the next place so that I can turn it and make it a lot more of the right shape. And so that's how I throw a pot and take it off the wheel, and all of the processes I use.